up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Chewin the Rag. We are back after 2 weeks off, I think. I don't even remember what the last episode was. I think it was another solo, pretty sure. Took some time off because of this here. If you're on video, you can see this doesn't look bad anymore. No, you get both fingers. This one's just bruised. Fractured my finger. I was at work and we are experimenting with making our own liners. I was hanging rolls of metal for the liners. They're roughly about 400-ish pounds per roll. And we were just hanging them on like a black iron bar, similar to this guy in the closet here, just a straight bar. And I hung one on, felt fine. Went to put another on. I was like, let's see if we can stack two. That would make it about 800 pounds. I had my hands on it. I had somebody with me. We were both putting it on. As soon as it like touched the bar, the flange ripped. I have a picture of it. I'll show you. The flange just like kind of tore, bent, everything collapsed, and one metal roll here, one metal roll here. They squeezed down. Luckily, I have some sort of reaction time. I got my hand out of there. Otherwise, it would be about here down rather than just like this area here. But again, doesn't look bad right now. I can move again. Before it was like these two were together and then these two were together and it was a whole thing. But I can move it a little bit. It's got about 11 to 15 stitches in it and a fracture in the bone, and the nail is still regrowing. I had to take it off, stitch underneath it, and then just pop it on there. So that's what I'm dealing with. And it sucks because I was supposed to have a guest, amateur fighter, up and coming guy, West Coast guy, Alexander Ramos. And the day we were supposed to record, it was 2 Fridays ago. The accident happened. I didn't get out of the hospital until about 6:30 at my time. And then the reschedule, I had to go to urgent care and get a rewrap on this. My wrapping was all messed up, and it was like literally the time we were supposed to record. So we are going to get that done. I want to talk to him. He's an up and coming guy. He's got a weird little childhood. He was in the circus as a kid and then transitioned into a fighter. He was a guy who got in trouble. He was going through an injury right now. So it'll be interesting to talk to him. We are going to get that rescheduled. If you are watching, there might be a little bit of an echo in here. This is part of the project where we're redoing everything. You can kind of see like the floors are dusty, the boards are dusty, because literally this whole everything outside this door is dust. We're sanding things down. It's a lot of work. So if you're watching, you notice we got the old dirty bastard hung up. We got the W hat, W.GG for merch and jitter-free clean energy. Use promo code Chewin at checkout for a discount. We got this little monster here. Lenny painted both of these. This one I paid for just to support him. I was like, I could use some art in the studio, which this is not. This is just temporary, but it's nice to have some space and away from everything. Like I said, I got a puppy downstairs now, so it's nice to kind of just be able to come up here. My desk won't get touched and fall apart while three dogs and a toddler are sprinting through the house. But, I didn't just want not only this echo, but just this blank, dirty old wall. So I've decided I'd finally hang this guy up. It's a little fuzzy because the camera focuses a bunch. But the old dirty bastard, I talked about it before. That was a gift. Did not expect him to paint that for me and get it to me, but he did. And I appreciate and love that man for that. And then we got the Puerto Rico flag, that Boricua. We got that up there. So we're here. We survived. We made it. I don't really have, with my hand being injured, I don't really have much to talk about. I missed a bunch of work. I haven't really experienced anything. I haven't really done anything. So it's like, now we're just here to talk. I watched Cage Wars 60. Hold on. I want to say it was 65 this past weekend. Really good card. Yeah, Cage Wars 65 was this past weekend. You can go to stimulus.com and rewatch it if you want to see, some East Coast MMA. Amateurs go at it. Really good fights. They do a good job of putting fights together that are pretty fair, pretty balanced, and really exciting. I think the main card was really the whole card was good, but I think Knight versus Lee was really good. Knight is so dominant, and even she's like, I got a lot of stuff to work on. But if you go back, like I said, stimulus.com and you search Cage Wars and you watch that, she's so dominant. She's so scary. She just Lee's got her. And Lee's got a lot of heart. The fact that it didn't get stopped at all and went to decisions insane. Lee's fighting off her back. She's trying to get an armbar. Knight just slams her twice back to back, and it's like, Jesus Christ, Knight is scary. I was just like sitting. I had my computer to the side. I'm streaming it, just watching it, and I'm by myself watching these locals go at it. I'm like, she is tough. Trevor Gibbons, I was excited to watch him fight. I like the Gibbons family. I get along with the Gibbons family. It's a family of fighters and fight promoters. So I was watching that. Tough break for him. He got clipped early. It didn't. At first, I was like, it's not the best stoppage in my opinion. But I think I was just excited to see Trevor fight. I was like, it's not really the best stoppage. But you rewatch it, and anytime somebody starfishes, even if it's not for long, anytime somebody's got the two arms out, legs out, they're not defending themselves and their heads back, it's always gonna get stopped. And it was like a really flash starfish, and I was like, I rewatched it. And I was like, all right, that's a good stoppage. I don't want to take anything from I believe his name was Anderson. He's somebody that I'll be on the lookout for in the future. I think what we're going to do, and I have to actually, is this the schedule right here? I don't know if this is the most up to date schedule. No, it's 2023. Okay, but I think we're going to look at 2024's schedule, and for the next one, I'll do like a watch along or a companion thing where we'll watch the fights. We won't have them streaming on my YouTube. We're going to watch them, and then me and whoever it is that comes on that fight card, we'll just kind of react and talk and bullshit and have fun and kind of just like a little live pod for everybody. We'll do it right on YouTube, a live stream. You'll be watching us watch the fights, and I'd encourage you to throw the fights on as well, because then you can kind of follow along in the action and give your opinions and kind of interact with the show. We don't really do anything live that hurt. I can bang my finger. We don't really do anything live. Everything's pre-recorded and whatnot. So it'll be fun to go on there and interact with everybody if people are free. It's a Friday night, so I know it's kind of tough to expect people to want to sit there and hang out on a live pod. But if you're free, pop in. That'll be announced more sooner than later. It's just a matter of when's Cage War's next fight card and whatnot. Speaking of fights, we got UFC 300 this week. I know with Sam Alvey, we talked about it, and I didn't really seem that excited. It's not that I'm not excited for the card. The card itself is very good. It's just when the promoter comes out and says, like, this is going to be our best card ever, and blah, you expect it to be the best card ever, and it's not. It's stacked. It's really good, but it's not the best. I'm just going to pull it up right here. I should have been prepared, but I'm never prepared. That's not what this pod is. Get over it. We got Pereira and Hill. I'm rooting for Hill. I know the fun thing is to troll him on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, and get a reaction out of him, because he will just respond back to you and trade shots with you on social media. But I don't know. I like Hill. I like Alex too. I don't dislike him, but I would just like to see Hill get in there and get the win that day. Zhang versus Yan. I don't know how to say her last name, so I'm just going to call her Yan. Zhang's got so much more experience than her. I just think it's going to be an ass beating. I don't even think it's really going to be close. I don't love that as a co-main event. That's kind of like, this is where my gripes are. I don't love that as a co-main event. You expected something more when you're looking at a main card. And people are like, oh, well, that is a really good fight. It is a good fight. It's just not the best card ever. That's not the co-main event on the best card ever. That's all I'm getting at with that. This next fight's better than that, and it's Gaethje versus Holloway, but the BMF belt takes away from it. If that belt wasn't there, I love this fight, but get rid of that gimmicky ass belt. I don't care about it. I love Holloway. I like Gaethje. I want Holloway to win, but Gaethje's a tough ass at 155. Dustin was Holloway's other 155 fight, and it's like those two guys are ass beaters. So to go out there and move up in a weight class and fight them, but Holloway's looking thick. He's looking like a big boy right now. I saw him on Mighty Mouse Johnson's pod, and they were talking, and he's looking big. So I'm hoping his speed is still there. I'm hoping he's just gonna box. It's Max Holloway. That's what he does. He loves to box. He can kickbox. He's got good takedown defense, but Justin's not gonna go out there and try to take Max Holloway down. That'd be very strange. I don't expect that. I'm expecting them to put on a really good, like, brawl type fight, and I think Justin wins in that sort of fight. So it's like, if it turns into like this technical boxing match, Max has a chance, because that's his bread and butter, is just picking you apart with volume. But I don't know. I just don't. it's a tough ask at 155 to go up there. Your second 155 fight, I believe, might be a casual on that. I think Dustin was his debut, and then Justin's his next. I don't think he's had any other 155 fights, but that's a tough second ask. The other thing with that is Justin shouldn't be fighting a Max Holloway. That should be Islam's fight. Should be Justin. And just kicked Dustin in the fucking head, knocked him out, and then he's turning around before the champ even fights and fighting Max Holloway. And then you got Charles on that same card fighting Arman, which that's probably the number one contender fight. If Justin and Charles lose, then it's like, do we give it to Dustin because he just beat BSD? BSD, I think that's his initials. I'm all over the place today. Like, yeah, he just beat him. Arman's probably going to jump up if he beats Charles, and if Max wins, they're not going to do Max versus Islam, so it's probably going to be Arman. And then it's like, now Dustin's sitting there like, okay, what's next for me? Max is sitting there, what's next for me? You're not going to do the trilogy with them at 155. I don't think that doesn't make any sense. So I think the UFC is banking on either, ideally, the UFC is probably going to offer it to Dustin. He just won. He's the most available lightweight right now. And then I think they're hoping Justin loses and Charles wins. And then having Charles face Dustin again. And then, I don't know, that division's all mixed up. I don't understand what the hell they're trying to do. And then after that, Bo Nickel and Cody. Cody's a more experienced guy. He's got twice as many fights, 3 times as many fights, I think, actually. Bo Nickel is the up-and-comer. He's a really good wrestler, obviously. Showed that he has hands, so that's an exciting fight. And then I don't know who else. The undercard, you got Bobby Green versus Miller. Miller's fought on 100, 200, and now 300. That's great. Aljo's on the undercard facing. Who's Aljo facing? Who the hell is Aljo? He's facing a really good guy. I'm just drawing a blank. Oh, Gator, Calvin Gator. And he's a game guy. I think Aljo's going to try to just submit him. I don't think he's going to want to stand with Calvin. He probably could. But, I mean, you're moving up to 145. You're in that division now. I think he's just going to try to backpack him, choke him out, and get the fuck out of there. That's my guess. I didn't realize that Bobby and Jim Miller were the early prelim. They're not even on the prelims. That's kind of crazy to me. Who the hell? Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison, I guess. Makes sense. Then you got Jiri. I would have probably moved the Diego Lopez fight down. I do like that Bobby and Jalen Turner are on the same card. And Jalen Turner's facing Moicano. So, and then to open up the whole thing, the early prelims is Figgy versus Garbrandt. So I don't know. I guess it is stacked. It is a great up and down card. I just don't know. I think the order's a little weird, even though I understand a lot of it. And I don't like the co-main. The main event's not as exciting as it should be, but that's because a lot of guys aren't there a lot of guys aren't available realistically. So for what's available and what's there, I do understand it. I don't love the co-main. That's my biggest gripe. But I don't know. Maybe I'll be surprised. I do think Whaley is very good. I'm not too familiar with the other woman. I'm really hoping for that fight to be better than my expectations because I'm expecting Whaley to just go out there and beat the shit out of her and make it a short night, and I don't want that. Nobody wants that. It's a co-main event. You're supposed to have this big UFC 300 production. If she just goes out there and stomps her and whatever, it's like, okay, well, on the hill versus Alex. And nope, I don't think people are excited for that. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm reading the room wrong. But from like what I gathered with Sam Alvey and what his followers were saying, my followers were saying, just random Twitter, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that many people are all that excited to watch Alex fight Hill. Most people think Alex is just going to run through Hill. I'm hoping for the opposite. I got a fucking primary. I had a primary care. I haven't had a primary care doctor since 2000. My debut fight is when I had one, which was 2015, I think. So you're looking at like almost 10 years. And it's so funny because you go to a primary and they're like, so do you have a primary? And I'm like, no, not for a while. They're like, okay, like 5 years. I'm like, double that. Like, the only reason I had a primary then was so I can get blood work and whatnot and just make sure I was fit for the debut. But it was nice because, I have a family history of like heart disease and high blood pressure and blah blah blah. And I've always been on the cusp. I've never been high, which is good. But going to the primary, getting the blood work, making sure everything's good, yada yada yada, and everything's pretty decent. As you guys know, I talked about it. I've dropped. I was like 285 in 2020 when like pandemic and shit was happening. I was probably like 283 was about what I was. I didn't really look it. I didn't feel it either. And I stepped on the scale and saw it, and I was like, let's change that. And I dropped down. Right now, probably about 260. I think what I'm gonna do, and I'm lucky enough where I'll change my diet and I'll work out a little bit and I'll drop down. I think I'm gonna do like 220 walk around. I still talk in weight terms. I say walk around weight as if I'm ever gonna cut. I'm not cutting weight for anything, but yeah, I think I want to be like about 220. See how I feel. If that still feels heavy, then I'll drop down. I'm not gonna go any lower than 190, but let's get to the 220 mark first. That's what I liked walking around at. Uh, and I'm just gonna do the same thing I did when I was fighting. Just follow that same process, and it should fall right off. It's tough because I have to like tap into that. It's not just I'm not that guy. You're not that guy, pal. I'm not that guy anymore. I don't have a fight coming up. I'm not training because I want to have a fight coming up. I don't have like a kickboxing exhibition. I don't have a grappling match. I don't have any of that going on. So it's like, how do you tap into that without having that? So I was like watching old videos and just trying to get back into like, see if I could flip that switch. Sounds weird. It's not like I was like a professional or anything. It's not even like I did it that long, but it was a switch. It was something that like you have to turn on because you have to be a different person. I don't need to like tap fully into that. I'm not trying to like be pacing my house and like fucking just shadow boxing and tapping my fucking legs like I'm ready to go. I'm just trying to like, find that one little, just a sliver, just that little fucking sliver of that guy and bring him out and be like, all right, go run, bitch. All right, go downstairs, hit the bag, bitch. Go lift, bitch. Do something, bitch. Eat chicken, bitch. You having pizza, bitch? Slap that bitch out of your hand, bitch. That's what I gotta find. I gotta find that guy who's like just in my head all the time, fucking watching every move I do. Every step I take, every play I make, it'll call me fat. Oh yeah, I got a question in Discord. Let's see. Questions for the pod. Also, go to chewintherag.com if you ever want to submit a question or email me at chewintheragpod, chewintheragpod@gmail.com. Send me questions on Discord. If it's something a little more private, or you don't want people to know who's asking these questions, you can send me it right to the email, chewintheragpod@gmail.com. But if you go to chewintherag.com, that's where our Discord link is. You can join in. We're constantly in the voice chat playing COD or any video games that we all have mutually. You can join in and we can talk shit. I stream at Pinchworm Gaming sometimes on YouTube, but it's all fun. Everybody in the Discord's pretty. Look at this. Look at this fucking hole in my shirt. Everybody in the Discord overall is pretty cool. It's a generally quiet chat. Occasionally you get questions for the pod, or like I said, you get us in voice chat, just playing video games and hanging out. What did I get? Oh, excuse me. Fucking, I ate dinner like right before this, so I had an orange chicken bowl, and it's fighting its way through me. All right. Dan Snyder said, "What did you used to do while in the bathroom before we had cell phones?" I mean, same answer as everybody. You grab a shampoo bottle. Some people had magazines. We didn't have magazines. My uncle always had magazines in his bathroom. Or you just get in and get out. I don't like. It's probably better before you had phones because like, now I don't even go into the bathroom anymore. I'm just kind of scrolling. I'm getting lost in this guy's stream. I went on and I was like, oh, I don't want to forget this for the pod. Let me write it down. And I'm like, oh, well, what? And then just go down a rabbit hole, whatever it might be, or emailing people, doing whatever, fucking putting clips together for the pod. I do so much shit in the bathroom now that I should just be doing like at my desk. So it's probably better I don't fucking bring my phone in there. But same thing as everybody, right? Everybody read the shampoo bottle. Everybody read like the fucking toilet tissue container, whatever the fuck, the lotion bottle. Isn't that what everybody did? I feel like that's probably like people are hearing this and they say, "What did we do before phone? Shampoo bottle, body wash bottle, fucking bar soap bottle, whatever our container, whatever's in your vicinity and has words. That's what you did while in there." Yeah, I didn't really do anything special. I wasn't in there beating meat on the toilet. It's disgusting. You fucking I know that's what you want me to say, dirty boy. You dirty, dirty boy. He doesn't. I just addressed him directly with that kind of accusation because everybody who's familiar with the show is familiar with the questions that Dan asked. So I always assume the worst. But I think this was actually him asking an innocent question. And to answer it, just one of these. See, I'm holding this bottle here. Total carbohydrates, 2 grams. Not bad. No, no, no. That's all I did. It was just body wash. Which you ever read a body wash bottle? You can't even pronounce half the words. I don't even know why I fucking read them. There was no chance at all. All I knew the word fragrance. Oh, okay, they had fragrance in it. No shit, it's body wash. But yeah. My son starts T-ball soon. I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping he likes T-ball, and not even just because like I want him to continue with T-ball, but I think if he likes T-ball, he understands coaches. I'm trying to like let him know like, you have your teachers, you have your grandparents, you have mom, you have dad, you have adult figures that you look up to and that you have to listen to. There's also going to be people like coaches. I've had to explain to him what like, my coach does and what my coach did, and then like I tried to when we were going to the gym. I think I talked about this. If I didn't, if I did, I apologize, but maybe you haven't heard it. He went to the gym with me a few times, and one day I was trying to get my buddy's kids involved, and I was like, "All right, Sam's coming. The girls are coming. Sam's coming. Everybody's coming. I need you to kind of like step up and listen to Dad, so that everybody else kind of follows suit." Now that didn't work, but he did try. There was a few times where he would come over and try to help me out, and the other kids just didn't follow. And that's just because they're a little bit older, but never been really involved in sports. So I'm trying, as well. My son's only 4, get him involved early, let him learn like that structure, let him be like that kid who's like, okay, coach says go do this, I gotta go do this. Coach says do that, I gotta go do that. And you gotta support my teammates. So I'm trying to get him to do that with me when we go to the gym. Be like that team guy, that leader. That's to say and be like, that's what I was, but like that is what I was. My coach would text me when we had fights, and he would say like, hey, I need you at the gym. Like, you know how to go with these guys, not going too hard, but not going too light. And you push these guys, and they see you work, and you're not really like I'm not a big like this big fucking what's up, dude? But like I would go in there, just put my head down, and I would just work, and it didn't matter if you were bigger than me, I was gonna go just as hard as I would if you fucking were smaller than me, and that's just what it was. And I was always good with like making the new people comfortable, but also just getting shit done at the same time. And I'll touch on that in a little bit, but that's what I want my son to be like. Don't be coach's pet. Don't be teacher's pet. But like, put your head down and work hard and acknowledge it, and just listen to your fucking coach and help your teammates. That's all you have to do. You do that, you'll be a good fucking athlete. And I'm hoping he likes t-ball because he's now at that age where like we can get into jiu-jitsu. I don't want to do karate. Listen, I know karate's good for teaching kids discipline, but that's all it's good for. Unless you go to like a legitimately solid karate school. If you just shut the fuck up, you're just paying for a belt if you just go to like most these other karate schools. So I don't want that. I want to bring him to like a legitimately decent jujitsu school where you're not gonna pay for your belt. You're gonna earn your shit. You're gonna earn your stripes. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna work hard and do it. So T-ball, long story short, is hopefully my introduction to get him into that, and then get him into whatever other sport comes after that, and just constantly have him in sports. Distract him with sports, make him just focus on being an athlete, being a student, being a good kid. That's it. Because I wasn't. And it's not my parents' fault. I didn't really want to do that, and they weren't going to force me. Like I did the karate thing for a little bit. I didn't really get into sports until I got older. I tried out football, but I didn't like the position they put me in. I think I talked about this before. And I didn't understand that that's just kind of what they do when you're a kid. You're not going to go out there and just be a running back. You're kind of going to get bounced around. They have to figure out where your strengths are and whatnot. I didn't know that. And now I do. So when my son's old enough, if he wanted to play football and they put him at fucking tackle and he's not a big kid, it's like, buddy, don't just stick with it. Listen to your coaches. You can get other shit done. So that's my whole thing with that. What was I saying? Oh, I remember we did a raffle at the gym for bullied kids, and this kid, he's like a little 16-year-old Asian kid, really nice kid. His dad was Army, and I never met him before, but he did a couple one-on-ones with my coach with this raffle. And then one night I was coming in, and because he just wanted to acclimate him. You're bringing a kid who's been picked on and bullied, into a gym, you don't want to surround him with a bunch of guys who kind of know what they're doing. Who just want to get through class. So he would do his one-on-ones, and then we'd have class after. The kid wouldn't stick around. But the one day, class, a bunch of people didn't make it. It was just me. So I told the kid, like, just stick around. You're fine. I'm not gonna hurt you. You're good. And he worked out with us, me, my coach, and him. It was just us three, and uh, we went live grappling at the end of the. We did live grappling at the end of class, and his dad was coming in to pick him up, and we're down there, and we're wrestling, we're grappling, and I get on top of him, and I look at his dad. Like I said, his dad's military. This is a quiet kid who's been picked on. Way smaller than me. I was not just literal size wise. Like he was a tall, lanky, skinny kid. So he was much smaller than me. I'm a bigger guy, and this was when I was like training to fight. So I'm on top of him. I have him in a hold, and I just look at his. I whisper to him, I was like, "You like that?" I just like teasing this kid. And then I looked at his dad. I was like, "You ever see your son get wrestle humped by 200 pounds of sex?" And the kid's just under me. He can't really move. He's not tapping. So I'm not squeezing. I'm just kind of holding. And I'm direct eye contact with his dad. Never met this guy before. Never met this kid before. I just knew the backstory from my coach. And I had to see how he would react. So I'm going to be myself in every situation. And that was me be myself. And I was like, I don't think before I do things. I just did it. And dad laughed, and I looked at the kid, and he was smiling. I was like, all right, good. Like, you don't know what's going to happen in that situation. You don't know how the bullied kid's going to react, and you don't know how the dad of the bullied kid is going to react. You know what I mean? But I think dad being military definitely helped. He's probably familiar with those sort of jokes and just the camaraderie with that. And then the kid doing the one-on-ones up until then definitely probably helped as well. So that's all. I don't know what even prompt. Oh, just being like a good teammate and whatnot is what prompted that story. I was gonna say I don't know what the fuck where that came from. It's actually funny talking about all this MMA stuff and everything because literally the last cage fight, MMA fight, not because I did some kickboxing and a grappling match after this, but uh, April 9th, 8 years ago was my last MMA fight, which is kind of flew by, which is insane. Did not expect I like hopped on Facebook and checked memories. I was like, Jesus Christ, that was 8 years ago, which means the debut was like 10 years ago. So the way I'm talking about like this weight loss and doing everything, and I'm like, I'll just do what I did before as if it hasn't been 10 years and my body probably hasn't fucking changed enormously since then. But we'll see. Hopefully we'll notice it from this episode, and then in a few weeks everything looks a little slimmer and trimmer, you know? But you gotta heal this hand before I do it. I can do fuck you curls. I can lift like 10 pounds with the middle finger up. That's about it. I can't do anything outside of that. They said like I was like 15 pounds or like 15 pounds is probably your cutoff. I was like, that works for me. I could do that. I can handle that. I can run and ride a bike and do everything else. So that's good enough for me. But dog's losing his mind. It's fucking annoying. So I think I'm out of here. I think my son's outside playing and he's not, so he's just kind of barking and watching. But it was good to be back. Nice little 2 week thing. Yeah, I don't know. Just remember chewintherag.com for merch, w.gg for your jitter free clean energy, and we'll see you guys next week.